In this video, I'm gonna break down why the credit stacking method is not working in today's funding space, and also why a lot of business owners keep getting denied for funding, okay? The old strategy of just rapidly stacking multiple credit cards is actually getting flagged more than ever with all of these national banks and credit unions. Because believe it or not, banks are actually catching on. And if you've been stacking accounts way too fast and you have outdated and mismatched business information, then you probably need to watch this video. So what I want you to do right now is go grab your pen and paper so we can get into it, so you can avoid this issue, so we can go ahead and get you funding. And without further ado, let's dive in. So let's go ahead and start from the beginning as to why the typical credit stacking method does not work anymore. Guys, you have to understand this, that banks and lenders are now leveraging advanced data tracking to see your entire credit behavior, all right? We're not just talking about your score, we're talking about your personal data and your business data as well. Even if you apply for different institutions that even pull from separate bureaus that you're applying for, they probably can see that too. No, they can see that. And even if you're applying for multiple credit lines in a short period of time, understand that lenders see this as risky behavior, okay? Making approvals way harder to secure. Instead of seeing it as strategic, they see it as desperation. And that's the one thing that you do not want. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the inconsistent business information that I was talking about in the beginning, because I'm pretty sure some of y'all have this and you probably don't even know that you have it. One of the biggest reasons why banks are denying you is because of the information on your business account that doesn't match your personal credit profile or business entity. And I know you're probably thinking, well, that's my personal. They shouldn't be looking at my personal. They should be looking at my business. Do you generate over $10 million in revenue every year? Then yeah, they're going to look at your personal, right? So keep listening. If your business name, address, phone number, or even industry type is different across your LLC, EIN, DUNS number, and bank account, it throws up red flags, okay? Lenders see this as risky and may even decline you before they even check your credit score. So with all that being said, let me show you how to fix that. Please, number one, ensure that your LLC name, EIN, and business account all match exactly across the board, all right? Please understand that. That's the first thing that I want you to do. The second thing that I want you to do is use the same business phone number, address, and industry classification. And if you don't know what industry classification, I'm talking about your NAICS code or your SIC code. Please have all of these codes in line and make sure all that information matches as well. You have no idea how important that is when it comes to the funding process, ladies and gents. They want to look at all this information to make sure that they're in a good spot before they even try to approve you for any type of funding. It doesn't matter. And the third thing that I want you to do is check your DUNS number, profile, and your Secretary of State records. Please, ladies and gents, make sure all of this information aligns, okay? Even going back to number one and number two, you'd be surprised. Even though some lenders are just now starting to use business credit as more of an impact of either to approve you or deny you. So that means that you want to make sure that all the information on the internet is actually mounting up to what you're putting on these applications, all right? So if your LLC name is John LLC, it should not say Mahogany LLC on your paper, and you thought to yourself like, oh yeah, no, I just changed the name, and like, hey, did you change it with the Secretary of your State? Yeah, I sent it off. When did you send it off? Like yesterday. Well, it's not fixed, so we think that we're not gonna approve you. Next, let's talk about actually opening up accounts too fast. Now, for all of these funding companies and things like that, a lot of them shotgun your credit. You gotta understand that if you're not strategically going after specific banks at a specific point in time, and you're just shotgunning, you're just throwing stuff in the dark, hoping that it lands on something, then this can come back and bite you in the long run. The reason why is because a lot of people get caught up in the credit stacking. They even get caught up in the credit stacking even on the personal side. So I know they're doing it on the business side because I see it. Thinking that they can go to apply to multiple banks in a short period of time and they'll just go unnoticed. Yeah, again, guys, just like I said in the beginning, it's not 2015, it's not 2020, all right? They have way more information to see what's actually going on. But that's basically how it works. Here's what's really happening, just to let you know behind the curtain. LexisNexis, ARS, Early warning services, Moody, and all these other data furnishing places are tracking all of your financial behavior on the personal side as well as the business side as well, okay? Whatever you're associated with, they have that data. Even if you apply to different banks that pull from a separate credit bureau, these data providers are still reporting back. What you think? Did you just apply and this stuff just go unnoticed? They show the application history, all right? That means lenders can see that you've been aggressively applying for new credit or stacking approvals too quickly, which can come more as a hesitant to approve you in the future, even more for funding, all right? So you have to understand that, and you have to really pace yourself when it comes to this. The money's not going nowhere. So since I gave you all the information, let me show you how to not get flagged for this. Please, guys, understand this, because this is even what I do with some of my applicants and my clients in my high ticket program. Please space out your application, sometimes between 30 and 60 days, minimum between major funding rounds, all right? I'm not telling you to apply for one bank and then wait 30 days and apply for another. There's still a strategy behind this, but just don't go to 3 or 4 banks between Monday and Tuesday, and because they pull from all different bureaus and you're just wiping the inquiry, you think that it's all good, and it's not. All right, and number 2, diversifying your funding sources as far as mixing personal, business, and alternative lenders for the funding. Now hold on, just want to say, disclaimer. When I said personal funding, don't be in my comment section saying you're trying to get us messed up as far as your credit score, things of that nature. Look, there are some people out there that actually know how to leverage personal funding to actually keep track and to make sure that the utilization stays low within the 30-day grace period. So I just wanted to put it on the list for the people just like that. Now, if you're not one of those super savvy people, which is fine, that's all right. You can still utilize the business funding and the alternative lenders as far as credit unions or any other funding investment firms that actually give out, funding and things of that nature as well, like Rock Financial, and then you can use like a credit union or something like that, like NIH or something of that nature. If you're not super savvy in the personal space, don't use it. I was just putting it on there for the people that know how to, all right? But let's keep going. Now, number 3, keep track of all of your business credit bureaus and your data furnishers of when you're actually pulling for this funding and when from alternative banks and credit unions as well, okay? That's pretty self-explanatory, but please understand this. If you know that you're gonna go on Monday on the 21st, please keep track of that and say, okay, I need to space this out because that was TransUnion or Equifax or whatever. I don't need to do that for another maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Maybe 10 days, maybe 20 days, depending on what your past sequence has been like. And I need to keep going from there. So God forbid, if they do pull anything from any of those secondary lenders, you're good to go, all right? But I digress. Now, there is another major reason why you keep getting denied just after everything that I just said. Your business entity is not properly structured, okay? Banks want to lend to businesses that look legitimate, all right? And you can't start with just fake LLC that you started 2 days ago, okay? And if it's not set up right, you're gonna struggle with approvals. So here's what you need to do. The first thing that you need to make sure is, it's pretty simple, but make sure that your LLC is registered correctly with the Secretary of State, okay? There's so many websites out there that can give you a free LLC. You just wanna make sure that it's sturdy enough that everything is aligned up correctly. Make sure you have all your documents proving that it is. And also make sure that you have a low risk NAICS code, like I talked about in the beginning. High risk industries get flagged quickly. If you are in a high risk industry, you have to kind of, just be in that gray area. You got to find your gray area that's going to help you still get the funding that you need for your business. The next one, opening up a business bank account and actually using it. It's really the second part that I just said, actually using it. Banks want to see deposits, ladies and gents. They don't want to see that you opened up the account a month ago, you didn't do nothing, and now you want $50,000. It don't work like that no more. And the last one is just make sure that you set up your DUNS number, like I stated before, and make sure that you're actually monitoring your business credit through NAV. Again, NAV is kind of like the MyFICO of business credit, all right? It tracks everything as far as what you need as far as for your business credit scores, where you are, and you'll know when to get funding. And if you need that, click the link in my bio and you can get it right now. And they'll give you a business trade line to boost your business credit as well. Finally, let's go ahead and talk about the last thing, which is the no-doc funding trap. Now, a lot of people chase the no-doc loans and no-doc credit lines because you don't have to provide financials. But here's the problem. When a bank asks for a proof of income and you've claimed on this because they said no docs that you made $1 million, that you're going to make $1 million in revenue in this new business, and you also reported that you make $900,000 on the personal side from your job, and yet in reality, you don't make anything close to any of those amounts, you're going to get denied instantly. You know why? Because you can't prove anything. The solution, have your paperwork in order. Stop being afraid to show any type of documentation, all right? If they ask for tax returns, just give it to them. All right, just show them that you're confident enough to give them the information. Yeah, you might not get $75,000 in funding, but you can definitely still get $25,000 and then try to rinse and repeat at another institution as well. Also, make sure that you have your profit and loss statements if they require it. If you're prepared, that means you won't have to hesitate when a lender asks for verification. It also keeps you from raising any unnecessary eyebrows and red flags. So just keep all of this in mind moving forward when going from the funding space. So in my final thoughts, if you're serious about getting funding, you have to move strategically. Align your business information, pace yourself with credit applications, structure your entity correctly, and be ready for documentation when needed, if it's needed, okay? I'm not trying to scare you. Please, if you do this, you're gonna start seeing the real approvals instead of the constant denials just because you have a 720 credit score. I'm telling you, the funding is out there. You just have to position yourself the correct way, stay patient, and take action. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Now, if you've done any of this, please let me know in the comment section of how it's working out for you. And please just keep me updated with all the journeys that you're going through. Again, I want to thank you guys. And until next time, ladies and gents.